So let's say we've got a plane like this. Okay, we've got a plane like this, and then on this same plane we have a graph like this one. So this is the parent graph of x squared, like that. Right, now I can take the same graph and I can move it this side, or I can take that same graph and I can move it this side. Movement this side and movement that side of this graph is what we call the horizontal shift, right? We can also have this same graph. I can shift it here, or I can shift it to here. This movement of this graph up and down like that, or down like that, is what we call the vertical shift. Okay, I can take this same graph and I can have it here. Okay, that is what we call the reflection over the x-axis. Okay, now we remove this, right? And I can have this graph here, right? Let's say I've got this graph, and then I have it continuing like that. So remember that this was for x3, right? And so this graph can actually be moved around, or can actually be inverted. So if I got that same graph and I went with it like this there, then I came with it here, okay, that will be a reflection of this same graph over the y-axis. So this is this component here. You can have a graph like this. Okay, now with a graph like that, I can get this same graph. So you notice here, let's notice where this graph ends, and then it ends there, right? So I can get this same graph, I can make it like that. So this is what we call vertical stretching. I can get that same graph, okay, and then I can make it like this, okay. That is what we call vertical compression, right? Then, so I can have a graph like this, okay. So this is a graph. Then I take this same graph, I bring it in like this, okay, then I bring it there like that, okay. That will be compression. So this is compression. Then if I got, but then this is horizontal compression. And then if I got that same graph, let's use a different color there. If I got that same graph and put it here and put it there, that will become horizontal stretching. Okay, that's horizontal stretching. So I may have made a mistake on this one, but then it's actually may have been compression at some point. But then let's take note, the green one here is stretching, and this is compression. Okay, so we'll look at details of each of these. Okay, so when you are transforming a graph, okay, when you are transforming a graph, you can actually do it in different ways, but obviously the acceptable format or the easier format to follow is, the first is you apply I'll use initials. The first is you apply the horizontal shift. Then second, you try and stretch, okay, or compress from the new location. The next is you try to reflect. Then finally, you try to apply the vertical shift. Okay, so these are the steps that would normally be easier to use. Okay, so what are these steps? Horizontal shift, compressions, stretches, reflect it, and then vertical shift. Remember, you're doing all this on the same, it might be something like this. It was here at first. You do the horizontal shift. Okay, maybe the requirement is that you stretch it. After the stretch, maybe you reflect it. Maybe the requirement is that you now reflect the same. Then maybe the final movement is that now you do the vertical shift. So finally your graph is going to be there. Okay, that'll be the final one that you present to as your answer. All right.